Il était une fois, once upon a time, in the south of France, Juliette Toulon, who was a demoiselle de compagnie, meaning someone who brushes hair, goes everywhere with, helps dress a young, rich girl, because apparently she cannot do it herself. And Marius Boyer had a daughter named Marie-Antoinette. Cliché, I know. She herself also had a daughter with Noël. That means Christmas in French, but that's also a name. A farmer. Suzanne, my grandma, was born. She was a seamstress, and became a housewife when she met my grandpa, Pierre, born in Bretagne, where the crepes and salted caramel are from. He worked on the Bateau Mouche in Paris as a marine. Together they had Isabelle, my mom, who fell in love in nurse school with my dad, André, who also grew up in Provence. My brother was born and his peaceful life stopped when I joined him. So that brings me to day 1, Jour 1. I was born in Marseille, south of France, at La Belle de Mai, at 1540. Fun fact, I was born with brown hair, I went bald, and it grew back blonde. I've made my family tree and all the names sounding very French. I believe I have no other origin. My ancestors were not really travelers, unlike moi. I call my childhood my peak in life or my golden years. I did not have money, but I had everything. My parents, my brother, my cat, my dog, the sea, the countryside, my cousins, my aunt, my grandma. I thrived in school. I did gymnastic. I had a boyfriend when I wanted. But then puberty hit, and with that came family issues, griefs, acne, weight gain, sweat, greasy hair. Basically, my whole body had too much fat. Too much sebum in my hair, too much fat in my thighs, too much grease on my face. And with adolescence also comes hormones and comparing your life to others. I've read young girls lose their confidence at puberty because of insane standards this society holds women onto. It's like, as a kid, you live your life happy and carefree. You just have to worry about doing your homework and having fun. And all of a sudden, oh wait, now you have to remove your body hair? That costs a hell lot of money and a hell lot of pain, but never mind. You have to buy all this expensive skincare against acne, because you know, a girl with acne is not clean. You have to diet to be thin, go to the gym, to the hairdresser. But by the way, it's not enough to meet the standards, so now go have surgery. And also, don't be a slut, but not a prude. Don't sleep with someone too soon. God, don't wait too long. Don't kiss him just because you want to. Don't follow your own desire. Is my body mine? And on top of that, work hard in school. These previous statements obviously do not come from my free and untamable spirit of today and of when I was a kid. But I have to say, in middle school and high school, I definitely let these sexist rules rule my life. I survived le Lycée, high school, but did not thrive like previously. Well, actually, the first year, la seconde, I finished first of my class equally with my best friend, and we were both class reps. But then, the massacre. We had to choose which A-level, baccalaureate, we wanted to do, and my young and lost ass did not have the confidence I have now and had as a kid. I chose the scientific A-level just because my best friends did, and I was mortified to be in a class with people I didn't know. Also because my teachers told me, "You're good in biology, go to scientific." Because in France, it is wrongly and stupidly thought that the scientific A-level is more prestigious than the other ones. Could it be because most men choose it? So listen to someone who has made the mistake. If you are choosing your path right now, only listen to yourself. Because if I had, I would have graduated with très bien, aka honors, just like I did in my previous years of school. So I chose scientific, even though I'm passionate about, and therefore my best grades were in French, Spanish, English, art, history, philosophy, sport, etc. And the only scientific classes I was good at were biology, because I'm a hypochondriac and need to know everything about the human body, and astronomy, because I'm fascinated about the universe. But God, I hate math. I hate math because you have to do the same equation. Do you say that in English? 1,000 times to learn to do it. And my brain hates doing the same thing twice. It's probably the creativity and the love of learning new things. When I do something once, I'm like, okay, done. I know what it's like. I don't have to do it again. Thank you, next. I liked math in primary school, but my attention stopped when it got abstract. I was like, okay, I know how to count money and measure things. That's all I need. In everyday life, I don't need to solve 2x minus 4y equal 5x. I was very practical about it. Nowadays, we have every information we need on the internet, so why remembering 1,000 formulas by heart? I felt like the school system was not en accord with today's world. How do I translate that? Was not in tune with today's world. Are you testing my memory or my logic in math? Whereas in languages, when I learn a new word, it's locked in my brain forever. I don't have to write it over and over again. My hate for doing the same thing twice applies to small things too, like going to the same restaurant twice. I'm like, I've done that. There's nothing new to experience. I'm in a constant search for learning new things. My teachers and bosses told me I learn fast, so maybe that's why. Don't know. So guess what? I chose math as my specialty for my A-level. I've never been more not in tune with myself than at this period of my life. So basically, I have a scientific A-level, option biology, specialty math, option history, and my languages were Spanish and English. Let's go back to languages. The only one I did not like was Latin. When I found out it's a langue morte, dead language, and I could not connect with other people with it, I completely stopped studying. My interest dropped immediately. I was like, I'm not gonna use my brain's precious memory for something useless. The nerd in me was like, I'm not using data for this shit. I was 13, and already I did only what I judged could benefit me. My mom always recalls, Marine is infaçonnable. How do I translate that? Unmakeable and unchangeable? When you were 3, I could not put anything on you if you did not decide to. Basically, I was born with a recklessness and a precise taste in fashion. I actually encourage girls to develop this trait of character, because in a world where people control women left and right, if you do not stick for yourself, you'll end up eaten alive. Only listening to yourself is not being a brat, a diva, or having an attitude. And it applies to everything. For example, sexuality. Realize that every human being has sexual desire. It is a natural trait and a proof of good health. When you have a bad diet or a depression, you are more likely to have zero desire. Then understand that mainstream porn was not created according to women's sexuality, and listen to your desire and your desire only. Realize the nature's goddess you are. You literally decide if humanity ends or not. I was raised very equally with my brother. There's no genderism in my family, unless older generations. We do not look at people and see their gender, we see them as persons. First, I'm more like my dad, and my brother more like my mom, look and personality-wise. And our hobbies are not gendered. My dad loves to cook. Yes, he cleans the house. And no, he doesn't, quote unquote, help my mom, because keeping a house clean is the responsibility of every person that lives in it. But he also loves car. My mom hates to cook, but loves to decorate. My brother, he likes to cook and loves sport. I love to cook, decorate, fashion, skincare, but also cars, sport, building furniture. So I thank them for that, because I was never told I could not do something. Growing up, this was my normality, and I was shocked this wasn't the case everywhere. But the good news is my parents were not raised like I was, meaning everyone can be the first generation of open-minded people. You do not have to follow your family's way of living. I will not follow rules that go against my interest, made by strangers centuries ago. Sorry, but I'm too clever for that. Bref, high school ended and I was terrified about my future. I felt stuck. I disgusted myself from studies, whereas I loved it previously. I kind of developed a school phobia after high school. I went to law school, à contre-cœur, and obviously because I did not choose to be here, I hated every single thing about it. The place, the amphitheater, the people, the system. It's not that I didn't meet nice people, it's that they were not my kind of people. My statement, still, to this day, is boring and conventional people go to law school. So that's when depression hit. And the thing is, when you're in it, you're not aware of it. I did not know how to feel joy anymore. The quickest way to kill an autistic soul is to put them in an environment like that. The only class I liked was fundamental human rights, because it's very philosophical and not stupidly learning every single law and its number from the Code Civil. That does not make me more open-minded, happy, or rich. So pointless to me. Let's go back to depression. It comes unexpectedly and uninvitedly. You don't feel it slowly killing you. When you slightly slip away every day, it doesn't feel like you're gonna hit bottom. But one day, you realize you have. This is what I call the rock bottom of my life, or my darkest years. I would actually only wear black, my phone, clothes, even my car. There is no pictures of that period of my life, because I hated myself so much. I did not want to see me. I spent a lot of time in bed, on social media, or reading. One day I was tired of wasting the supposedly best years of my life. Shout out to Olivia. I decided to change. I looked at pictures of myself as a kid and thought, why was I happy? And started to apply the things I did as a kid. I gained back confidence in my appearance, but because I still didn't love myself, my life, the tiny village I lived in, the mentality there, it all went away. I thought, I'll start my dream life when I feel perfect. Of course, that time never came. So, going back to YouTube, it all started when a man in my family said, "You have nothing in your brain," when I supposedly had lost his credit card. It was actually under his bag. But that phrase stuck with me. I could not stop thinking about it. How can someone I love think that of me? Worst, how can someone who knows me think that of me? There must be some truth about it. I mean, I have a big pride, so I know deep down it's not true. But damn, someone who knows me, the real me, think I'm dumb, stupid, brainless. The one thing I would not call myself. I wouldn't call myself pretty, as I'm a perfectionist who only see my flaws. But there are two things I know I am: smart and creative. I was always on the top 3 of my classes since kindergarten. My teachers asked my parents if I wanted to skip a year and go to the next grade twice. My teachers used to show my notebooks to others as example. A kid stole my painting and pretended it was hers. I was first in biology, French, languages. My French teacher told me I had a good style of writing. I mean, even my blood is A+. But still, it hurts. But I was wrong about something. He doesn't really know me. As an introvert, I keep a lot of myself to myself. By the way, I call myself an introvert because I tend to do a lot of introspection. I cannot stop thinking when I'm alone. Hello, depression. I need to be on my own to recharge my batteries. But don't take me wrong, I fucking love to party and be social. In a way, I'm more extroverted than some extroverts because I make friends easily. I'm not afraid to talk to strangers when I know some so-called extroverts would rather die than do that. Maybe I'm both. Anyways, so this episode taught me a lot of things. 1. The only person that knows you is you. What you are capable of, your resources, your power. Only trust yourself. Your instinct is worth more than other people's advices. 2, be independent, financially and emotionally. I'm not saying don't love. I'm saying don't lose yourself loving others. What I used to do. Do things because you decided to. Don't wait for other people. For example, I obviously love going places with my people, but if I really want to see this movie and my people are not available when I am, I'm going on my own. I do not care about le jugement des autres. How can I translate that? Other people's judgment. And that changed my life. To me, this is the key to happiness. People do not have their life more together than you. I sound like a people hater, but that's the opposite. I love learning new languages precisely to be able to connect to other people all over the world. Going back to the independence, my mom usually waits for my dad or me to go somewhere, and my grandma, partially because of money, doesn't have a driving license, so she depended on others her whole life. And I refuse to be like that, to wait for other people to live my life. Some would call it bratty, but when I want something, I want it now, and I'm going to do anything to have it. I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth, so I've learned to do it myself, to satisfy my needs myself, to go take what I want. I can call my mom or my dad to give me a career. This day, I promised myself, from now on, I'll never borrow money from anyone, and one day, he'll be jealous of my money, and I'll pay for him. 3, do not care what others think. If this person thinks I'm stupid, I have nothing else to lose. I don't know why this makes me think of the Aristocats, Toulouse. I had held myself back for years because I was afraid of judgment, including his. For what in exchange? To be called brainless. That was the turning fucking point. Fuck off. Now, I'll only do what I want. So, YouTube. I wanted to make videos, but again, I was afraid. I've always wanted to work in fashion, but I knew Vogue was reticent about YouTube. But now they have a whole department on it. People become progressive, minds open, the world evolves, and that is the way to go. So, this is moi. Not perfect, but very passionate. Starting the life I've always dreamed of. I've always wanted to travel, but did not have the money, and just do any form of art for the rest of my life. Basically, my dream is to be an artist who paints, decorates, makes music, eats the best food, loves, goes to concerts, discovers our beautiful earth, desires, learns new cultures, new languages, has an impact politically, lives this world less hateful than it was when I arrived, finds a way to be paid, and takes picture of all of that. Since I've read about Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, the author of Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince, and how he'd fly his own plane places to places. That's my inspiration. Going to a new country, discovering the people, the culture, the language, and when I feel like I've learned what life needed to teach me, taking a plane, mine one day maybe, and fly to my life's next chapter. Today marks the first day of the rest of my life, and for the first time, I'm excited about my future.